Tonight, a storm supercell brings more heartbreak to flood-ravaged Ipswich and Brisbane. The hunt for a woman who vanished during the deadly deluge. The Premier tours the disaster zone, refusing to cash in on her renewed popularity. But price gougers exploit victims, charging outrageously for bread and milk.
Across Queensland, this is 10 News at 5 with Bill McDonald and Georgina Lewis.
Good evening. Another line of storms has swept in from the west, just as they did a week ago. They appeared shortly after 2. Forecasters at the Bureau called it a supercell, carrying strong winds and dumping rain. Nikki Hayden is in Ipswich, directly in the storm's path. And Nikki, any reports of damage there?
Georgie, there is. We already have reports of trees into houses at Inala, Bellbowrie and Jimboomba, and a car was crushed at Everton Hills by a fallen tree as well. Fortunately, no one was inside at the time. Here in Goodna, the storm hit about 3:30 this afternoon. Already trains along the Ipswich line have been suspended because of damage to overhead lines. You know, driving out here from Mount Cootha this afternoon, the storm was just so intense we had to pull over to the side of the road. There were winds of 95 kilometres an hour, very heavy rainfall and hail as well. So far it seems like Forest Lake and Inala have been the worst hit. Fire crews are out there trying to remove fallen trees from the Logan motorway. I've also spoken to some people in Camira and Springfield. They're already without power, and they say there are trees out there along the old Logan Road as well. Up to 40,000 homes could be without power tonight because of this intense cell. It has passed through the Brisbane CBD now. It's heading towards Caboolture and Redcliffe in the next half hour, so people out there really do need to be careful.
And Nikki, after such a disastrous flood, you'd understand a downpour like this would frighten some people.
Yeah, absolutely, Georgie. You know, just this morning we were out here talking to people in Goodna. They've lost everything from the floods just a week ago, and they were being so positive and trying to look forward, and, you know, so much of the community was helping them build their lives back together. Now they've been hit again. The president of the RSL behind me, David Christie, said when the storm hit this afternoon, the look on people's faces was just one of fear. They're so anxious about, you know, what's happening at the moment. Now they've been hit again, and, you know, they're going to have to take a lot of effort and a lot of energy to rebuild again after this storm.
OK, thank you, Nikki. Now to bring you up to date on the floods, the town of Grantham has been closed to outsiders for the next week, allowing families to mourn and bury their dead. That number remains at 20. Grave fears are held for a dozen others. Close to 1,800 homes have water through them, and 1,100 people will spend another night in one of 20 evacuation centres. And there's this. This is a picture taken during the terrifying flash floods in Toowoomba last Monday. It was sent to a Toowoomba policeman from a bystander overlooking the floods from the Grand Central Shopping Centre, looking onto Dent Street. Now, police are asking us to help identify the woman in this photograph because, as of now, she's unaccounted for. And we know that a mother and son died in that torrent on Monday. Anyone with information on the woman in the photograph should call Crime Stoppers. Well, tonight, Bill reports from Southbank. And Bill, people there would be just as nervous about this sudden downpour.
Well, Georgie, the
And we seem to have lost Bill, so we'll go to another story. This afternoon's storm was too much like the downpour in Toowoomba a week ago. The Premier was there today, where memories are still raw. Well, we'll try and cross back now to Bill McDonald, who is at Southbank this evening.
George, on a hot day like this, Southbank would normally be buzzing with people, but it's not. There's nobody here at the moment. The parklands are closed, and the beach behind me is closed as well. And the reason, just have a look at it. It's normally full of lovely white sand, but of course it's a victim of the floods as well. Once the raging Brisbane River went through there, it's now just a lot of that dark, slimy mud in the bottom of the lagoon pool, which everybody knows it's been pumped out, and it's going to be closed indefinitely until they can get it back on deck. But as you've heard earlier, the death toll remains at 20. The majority are in the Lockyer Valley. Now, today, the town of Grantham was shut off to the outside world just to let the families there grieve in private. And Kathy Border was there too.